Alright guys, this is Andrew at FloryPB, and we're going to do the installation video for the new circuit board into an Angel LCD. This is a very stock example of an Angel LCD, so Warp Sports, but it's set up the way stock should be. It has a battery in it, it's hooked together. That's why I'm using this one. We're going to need most likely a screwdriver, depending on what the board bolts are, and a set of metric Allen keys. You could need a standard Allen key to take off your bottom line setup, but this one I don't, because it has a quick release on it, so you don't need to take the reg off. I'm just going to get it out of the way. We'll pop the barrel off it. Just to keep it safe. So here's the carrying case for the new board setup. Inside you'll see the pigtail for our power. You have the board itself, the written manual. It's two-sided. I'll do the manual in the second video. And this is a QR code for the PDF of this manual, so you can have it in your phone or look it up right away. This, my thought is, instead of sticking it in here, I can stick it in the grip frame. That's why I have the packing tape, but I'll show you guys that as we go. The board itself. It's set up like that. And if you see, we have the solenoid goes, let me get a pointer. The one turn 90 degrees. This is for power. This is the solenoid. This would be a DM style eye, a 3-pin eye with a neutral ground. And this is the Angel style eye harness if you have eyes in your LCD. This sticker should be off, but so let me get a little closer. So here's our dip switches. We have 1 through 4. This one is going to be your 20 lock. If you point it down, point it up, it's in programming mode. Number 3 is for your anti-mechanical bounce. We leave it up to when we're sending them to you, but you can do what you want. And the other 2 you don't really have to deal with. So we're going to pull our grips off real quick. We use our 2.5 millimeter. Wait, 3 millimeter, sorry. We'll pull the other side off real quick, and then I'll show you guys how we're going to get the board out. This side's always a little stickier. Just don't hold it in, it's just kind of sticky. There we go. So sometimes these 2 board screws are Phillips head, if it's like stock from the factory. These are been replaced. They're replaced with the same screws you use for your back cap. We get both those screws off regardless. I believe there are 2. Yep, I'm just going to break these free. Before we do that, this is our solenoid. I'm going to pull those wires. These are for our battery and our current switch. We'll pop those off. You don't have to take the battery out. I would suggest you take the battery out. You don't want it sitting in there to, you know, get leaky. And it's just extra weight for no reason. So we'll take the back cap off to get to everything back here. And you got the spring, so you put pressure on this here, like that, and then let it release slow. I'm going to put the spring here, we're going to put that back in. We're going to unscrew our back plate. I need a 4mm to take out the front. So that's out. You don't always have to take off the grip frame, but it's going to be so much easier to install it with the grip frame off. And that's why I said remove your bottom line setup. The 3mm again, to take your grip frame off, there's 2 screws. And I already got rid of these 2 wires, so that should be all set up. So let's pull everything from the marker first. I'm going to pull these solenoid wires gently up and just get them back through the body so they're not in our way. I'm going to pull those wires down, and we can slip the battery pack out in its entirety. So this, we're going to take our pigtail and we're going to slip, it's a tight fit, but we'll slip the switch up in there, and then we'll feed the solenoid back. It's a bit of a dance. We got the solenoid wires back, the switch up here. I don't want to close up the back yet because I want to see which direction is on and off when it comes to positioning in the back cap. You don't have to do that, but traditionally angels are push out for power, push in for to be off. So that should theoretically be off in this position, and then that would be on, but we'll see if that works. Just lay that loosely there. So now let's take our board out. Again, this could be a Phillips head, or it could be this 2mm. Be careful not to lose the push buttons on the back. They will be reused. This tray comes out. If you really want one, you can modify it by cutting it out for the battery, but it needs to be gone for the battery to fit. And now we'll put our board in. Put it in loose and check our fit on everything. You want to be positioned so these 3 switches are nice and tight, but not activating. The top one's activated now. All right. And so, depending on the trigger, I made this so we can bend it out instead of in. This trigger is a little taut. This is also the 2mm. But depending on the trigger, it might not activate. So what we're going to end up doing is we got to bend the micro switch out a little bit, the little flap, just to meet your configuration you're going to have. So what I like to do is take the bigger Allen key and just put it like right in the middle. Then take the smaller one and we'll bend it out just a little bit. Now it's hitting. I want it to be a little more. So now I got a little throw. And I like that. The buttons feel good. Let's double check with the battery. Battery slips in with room. So we have room for the battery, we have room for the buttons, and the trigger is connecting. This is a little high. We're just going to bring down the top set screw a little bit on the trigger. And that should be good to go. So we're going to put this back in, mind our wires. Put these two back in. And again, make sure we're not pinching our wires when we snug this back one down. Now, if you have IntelliFeed wires, there's nowhere to put them in the board. If you want to tuck them up in the frame or in the body of the gun, that's going to work out probably the best to keep it. That feels great. So now we're going to put in our solenoid into the solenoid port. It's set up to kind of fall in directly as it wants to lay out of the marker. I flipped that the JST connector over for that. This is set up to pretty much fall directly in as well. So they fall in nice. If you had eyes, you would hook the eyes up now, but we do not in this marker, like most stock LCDs. This is just long enough to get in its spot without interfering with too much. So we're going to put a battery on and see if our switch is in the right position. So on is in this case. If I do that, it's off. So if you want, I had a little room left to maneuver it there. So I just positioned it so it's stock Angel setup. I'm going to pull the battery real quick just to make life easier for ourselves. We'll slip the back plate on. We'll check this. I like that. That's managed pretty well. That's wire managed pretty well. I don't have a ton of wires sticking out everywhere. Make sure that falls in there. And we'll put the back plate back on. This is the 2mm again. And let's put our front plug back in for our now empty battery tube. So make sure we're threaded in. All right. So I took the grips off fully. You don't exactly have to do that. But I want to show it to you the way my thought process is. There's a lot of room right here. Enough room to put the QR code in a spot where it can live. And that's why I grabbed the roll of packing tape, is so I can keep it in the grip, put some packing tape over it for a cheap way to always make sure you have a manual on you. So move that. That. I just want to seal it up. So now it's always there. It should be fairly sealed from paintball. I mean, if not, I can give you another QR code if you want to print it out and, you know, get more. But that's a simple way to make sure you always have a manual on you, because it's an LED based gun. So that would be good for scanning. Let's toss these grips on and I'll show you. So if we get our phone, we have the manual fully on our screen. Save it if you want, or do it that way. Put the battery in, tuck that up nice, make sure it's just not interfering with anything. Nice and tight. Only thing that's shaking around is the actual bolt in this marker. Let's put the sorry, I pulled it off the table. Let's put the pull pin back in. You can also put the QR code on this side. It should fit in this window. I just don't particularly like that. And you can see it through the back here. We have the LED position to be right back there, or through the grip. It's set to shoot 10. I didn't oil this or anything. We're going to see if it shoots. This is a marker I really picked out of a box. You know, it's been sitting there for probably 10 years. Yeah. Gotta love LEDs, or LCDs. And like that, you have a modernized LCD. Takes a 9-volt battery. Can shoot the tournament modes that you're going to need for right now. And the next video I'm going to make is going to just be programming of the board. All right, that's it for the install video. Thank you, guys.